Hey guys, check this out. We are here with the finally facelifted Skoda Kamiq. Yes, Skoda, you've done it. You've facelifted your Kamiq. Now, it's no secret that I really liked the Kamiq, especially when it first came out. It was some $30,000 drive away, came with a bloody powered tailgate even, and was and still definitely is a very smartly packaged little SUV from Europe. Well, actually from Czechia, or Czech Republic as it used to be known. And they've actually significantly updated the Kamiq. It's got a lot of very Volkswagen influence here with the facelift. It doesn't look huge, but really when you start looking around, it adds up to a lot, including how it drives. It's actually quite different. So today I'm going to take you for a full review of the Skoda Kamiq. This one here is the Monte Carlo. The whole range actually kicks off with the select $33,990 drive away. Very good pricing. You can add a $4,200 signature package, which does add a lot of goodies to the base model. And then you got this here, which is the Monte Carlo. And that's the one that I'm going to be driving today, though I will tell you about all of the range because I've driven it all on this launch, which happens to be near where I film. So that's very good. So today we're going to take you for an exterior tour of the Skoda Kamiq. We're going to move on to the interior, see all the pretty major changes on the inside, talk about practicality, of course. We're going to launch this thing, see just how quick it is from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. And of course, we're going to give this thing lots of sauce because like I said, under the skin, this has actually changed a little bit. And then I'm going to end on, should you buy a Skoda Kamiq? Or really, which one should you buy? Because I do have an opinion on that. So let's get into it. Alrighty, let's talk about what has changed on the exterior now of the Skoda Kamiq, because might not look it, but actually the whole front is pretty much new. So the grille now is quite a lot wider than it was before. You still have your radar in here and the Skoda badge there. Obviously being the Monte Carlo, the top of the range, the sporty one. It's kind of like almost like a GTI almost. We do get blacked out accents. Also new are these headlights here, which do have a bit of condensation within them, which probably isn't great, but I'm sure would be fixed under this thing's 7-year warranty, which for any European car is actually the best in Australia and unlimited kilometers. But it's a redesigned LED daytime running light. It's also your turning signals and it's all sequential. By the way, across the range, this thing now has fully LED lighting. So well done, Skoda. You've also got matrix LED lights here, which in this segment, you don't ever see it. This could be a first. Very good light. It actually blanks out part of its beams. It can turn off its LEDs to keep your high beams on, but not dazzle other drivers. It's a really cool technology. Great to see that it's trickled down to essentially what is the cheapest of the range. You also have new LED fog lights down here too, and a fully redesigned bumper, and it's quite aggressive here, the Monte Carlo. Yeah, I think it's a really handsome SUV. Don't love cars in red, but it does kind of work in this. I don't mind it. Let's check out the side. Okay, so coming to the side, and I just want to mention, this thing is not big, it's small, and that's a good thing because on the exterior, it's got small dimensions. In fact, it's one of the smallest in the class, being just over 4.2 meters long. It's really not long, but it still has some of the best dimensions on the interior, and that is something that Skoda does very well. It's just there, and I hate to feed into advertising, but simply clever design. It is simply clever on the inside, but you'll see that. Here you have these 18-inch wheels. They've got this like machine alloy look to them. Also wrapped in good tires, Goodyear Eagle F1, so that's good to see. You don't often see that, especially at this price point. For example, on a Hyundai Kona, you're going to find Nexons. They don't work too well. You've got a Monte Carlo badge there with a little checkered flag because you're going to race this thing, baby. Also got blacked out mirror caps, no 360 camera, which is a shame. You do get keyless entry and go though, which is very good. Here you'll obviously see that we have blacked out roof rails, and we also have an optional accessory here, which is a bike rack. I can't comment on it. I'm not much of a cyclist myself, although my first job was at a push bike store. There you go. You have very tinted privacy glass there too. I want to make a couple of shout outs too. It has stopped raining, thank the heavens, but if it does start raining again, you got your umbrella in the door, which I love to see. I don't know, it's just a neat little party trick really. And then here as well in your fuel filler cap, you're gonna see this. You have an ice scraper and it's also got measurements on it too. So really cool, small things. It's just nice attention to detail. Will say, don't love this. So this car requires 95 RON fuels. It's got a really efficient engine, so that is good, but it also means that it requires very refined fuel. Nothing but the best for your Skoda Kamiq. Kamiq. So 95 octane plus, which could mean that running costs might be higher if you are more prone to using 91 fuel or even E10 in your day-to-day commute. Something like a Toyota Corolla Cross that can take 91 octane fuel, or even the cheapo E10 stuff. But conversely, as you'll see, the entire range of Kamiq, even this one here with the big boy engine, it's actually weirdly fuel efficient, like very fuel efficient. So you should definitely try and calculate that. Let's check out the bum. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but the back has almost been way more updated than the front because of the addition of this. So now you get like this split tail light design. This is actually a fog light, so it is functional, but because we have the red car and these brake lights are obviously red, it's quite hard to see. These though are fully LED with sequential indicators at the back. It's just a nice premium touch really. And you don't often see that even at this price point, which is a shame for other manufacturers, but great to see it here, Skoda. Now, Skoda are very proud of their 7-year warranty. It's unlimited kilometers and it is very impressive. Like I said earlier, no other European brand has that in Australia. And when you combine that with actually very affordable servicing costs, this does work out to be one of the most affordable cars to run in the segment, even with that 95 RON fuel. You have your blacked out Skoda badge here as well, and the Kamiq badge. That's how you can tell that this is the Monte Carlo. And then down the bottom, you have a completely redesigned bumper, no fake exhausts. Well done, Skoda. Alrighty, what about what the Skoda Kamiq can fit inside of its bum? Well, first of all, powered tailgate. Would love to see that on the base model, but it has been deleted. When this thing's first launched, the base model actually had a powered tailgate, but it's since gone. You can option it as part of the signature pack, but yeah, doesn't come as standard. Still, it's a small hatchback. You really don't need it. And yes, packaging is incredibly good. 400 liters of space, and it's huge. Like, guys, you have to see it to believe it. It's massive. This is really part of Skoda's mantra, which is about clever packaging. You know, simply clever is their motto. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's really quite clever. There's also some other clever things in there. You've got a hook over here. You can remove the side panel, get some more space, or just use it as storage space. You've got a tie down point there, and it's reflected on the other side as well. Under the carpet, you get a space saver spare wheel, so that's pretty good, especially for a small SUV. You can also drop the rear seats really easily, and that'll give you 1,395 liters of boot space. So yeah, really, really impressive packaging. Would it be better if it came as standard with a power tailgate? Sure. Are you really gonna care? Probably not. Let's check out the interior. Alrighty. Oh. Guys, moving on to the interior now, the Skoda Kamiq. I want to start with the Select model very briefly because it has received a huge upgrade. It now gets an updated infotainment display and a digital instrument cluster. It also has a nice uplift in the materials on the inside, specifically, and I can't say this without sounding rude, the KREP, K-R-E-P-P panels that they've inserted on the dash and around. Just makes it a lot nicer. And here as well, we get some good changes in the Monte Carlo. So first of all, soft touch materials are absolutely everywhere. That's not new, but it's good. You get this faux carbon fiber effect up here on the dash and on the door trims. It is soft touch, but I'll be honest, me personally, I've always found these to be a little bit naff, but it's fine. You get this new anodized aluminium look red trim, which does look very good. It really helps to make the interior just feel a bit more premium. The seats have a new design to them as well. They look really good. They've got that carbon fiber effect to them as well. They are cloth, which not everyone loves, but if you're a true car enthusiast, you would agree that cloth seats are the best out there, especially for Australia, because it's a lot better for temperature regulation. Speaking of, you do have heated seats here as well, which is good, and they're very strong, let me tell you. The infotainment display has been updated. It's now even faster. It's a 9.2-inch display here. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, and it works really well. There's two things I don't really love about it. The gesture controls, they work like 1% of the time. The other thing with it is it doesn't have digital radio, which at this price point, I would certainly expect. Up in front of you though is another digital instrument display. It is very good, shows heaps of information, including a full-size map should you want that, very Audi of this Skoda. And I've never had a problem with it. It's easy, intuitive, good to use. Here you have dual zone climate control, which is always nice to see. Got a couple of USB-C ports as well, and a 12-volt socky wocky. You also have a massive storage area up here, which I think is a missed opportunity that it's not a wireless charger. Again, seems a little bit odd at this price point that it doesn't come with a wireless charger, especially because it has wireless Apple CarPlay, but you have 45-watt fast chargers, so I probably would plug it in anyway. Heaps of storage space in here. You have a massive glove box there. You've got a very big side box thing here. Massive door pins as as well, like genuinely huge. Even under the seat of the passenger, do you have a little bit of storage area if you need to hide something, if you know what I mean. I don't even know what I mean. You have a premium sound system in here. It's an in-house sound system by Skoda, and it does sound pretty good. The driver's side also has automatic adjusting, just manual for the passenger side, but it's okay because you can adjust that in a lot of ways, including lumbar, which is good to see. And yes, you have your simply Skoda things like a ticket holder up here, which is nice, smart design. Like I said, you got the umbrella in the door. You also get this massive panoramic sunroof as standard now in the Monte Carlo. Used to be an option. In fact, across the range, you actually get a lot more for your money than you did before. I think Skoda have negotiated some good deals with their head office. Unfortunately, it is fixed. It doesn't open. It also opens the opposite way to what every other car does, but that's a non-issue. I just found that interesting. Also love this. Your center armrest does slide. It's nice and soft. And inside you have enough storage. You've also got a couple of cup holders here and a little smaller one if you have an energy drink. Not to mention the steering wheel. It feels really nice to hold in the hand. It's a very nice leather unit. Monte Carlo badge down the bottom. It is leather across the range though, so that is good. You've also got your heated steering wheel here, and it's 3 stages, which is very impressive. And like I said, it's easy, intuitive, good to use. Overall, you can just see that they've done a lot of little nips and tucks, and this was already a really nice place to be, and they've just made it even nicer. The Monte Carlo doesn't necessarily feel that much better on the inside though than its almost 30% cheaper Skoda Kamiq Select, which is why that is starting to stack up as such a great value buy, whereas this is good, but it doesn't necessarily blow my mind. Let's check out the back seats. Oh, again, across the range, this is what impresses me. First of all, sounds solid. More importantly, I'm 5'11". This is my normal driving position. This thing's got a huge boot, heaps of space up front, and somehow even more space in the back seats. Heaps of leg room. It's incredible. Heaps of tow room as well. A lot of headroom, even with this panoramic sunroof. So yes, again, across the range, and it is just fantastic. Such good packaging on the inside, like genuinely blows my little mind. You've also got a couple of air vents back here, which you don't often see even in this class. A couple of USB-C fast chargers back here as well. That's very good. You get a new little phone holder on your mat pocket, and of course pretty big mat pockets there too. You've also got massive door bins. Quality takes a hit in the back, but not unexpected again at this price point. And I do love this anodized aluminium back here as well. The seats, again, they're just that really nice cloth. They feel really good and supportive. There is no center armrest though, which is a bit of a shame, but honestly I can forgive it all just because of how good the space is back here. Okay, so now we're going to launch it, but before we do, quick shout out to us, carsauce.com/buy. We've partnered with Motorscout to get you the absolute best price on your next car with cars that are actually in stock. We have thousands of dealers who we make fight each other to get you the absolute best price. Best of all, it's a totally free service for you. We charge our dealers a fixed fee, which means that we will always go in hard to get you the best price possible. So head to carsauce.com/buy and join our many happy customers. Alrighty, let's launch it. Alrighty guys, it's time to launch the poor Skoda Kamiq, and I say poor because the weather is terrible. It is not favorable conditions. This is of course front wheel drive only, so unlike some competitors, we don't have all-wheel drive, and that means that, yeah, we're not going to get the best launch off the line, no doubt, but we're going to try anyway. We're going to put the car into sport mode, and oh, the engine has turned off. Thank you, stop start. There we go, back on. Alright, here we go. I'm really curious to see how it will do. A bit of wheel slip. It's composed itself. Transmission was a little confused there, but here we go, come on. It's pretty fast, guys. Good, but I was kind of expecting better. 0 to 100 in 9.05 seconds. I'm gonna try that again because I just feel like this can do better. But again, conditions are not favorable for this thing. Alrighty, let's try that again. I'm gonna be a bit more careful on the throttle this time. Kind of ease into it because, yeah, weather is terrible. Don't you turn off. All right, here we go. Maybe I'll brake just a tiny bit. No, it doesn't want to do that. Ease. Oh, I feel like that was a better on throttle. Better 0 to 60, come on. Better shifts as well. See, I like that more. 0 to 100 at 8.6 seconds. All right, redeemed. Alrighty guys, driving The Skoda Kamiq. It's got a bit of torque steer. Monte Carlo. So you can get this thing with two different engines because they've really culled back the line. So it starts with a Select. That's a 1 litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine. It's front-wheel drive, has a 7-speed dry dual clutch transmission, and it puts out 85 kilowatt of power and 200 newton meters of torque. So definitely not much power, but a lot of torque. And then you step up to this one, which is the Monte Carlo with the 1.5 litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine with 110 kilowatt of power, 250 newton meters of torque. This is also front-wheel drive and also has a 7-speed dry clutch dual clutch transmission. And to be honest, I really like both of these engines. Even this 4-cylinder, you put your foot down in the wet, it's got like a lot of grunt and power and torque to it, and it weighs under 1.4 tons, so this thing actually shifts pretty quickly. And even the 3-cylinder is still actually very good. It's got heaps of torque, definitely feel the lack of power, but here you certainly don't, and it just has power for days. And it's really interesting because yes, this has the same outputs as a base model Golf, but that actually has a arguably worse engine. It's the older 1.4 litre version of this now 1.5 litre engine. Same power and torque, but it comes with an 8-speed automatic transmission, which isn't as good as this 7-speed dual clutch. But right now is really what I want to show you. I'm going to put the car into sport mode. It's now activated the dampers to be stiffer. It's also heavied up the steering wheel. I've got to be careful because it is a wet day today. But this thing now gets adaptive dampers, which means that actually when you corner, it handles surprisingly well. This thing is very much a warm hatch, and towards the hotter end of a warm hatch, because it's actually quite fast. Now, is the adaptive dampers world changing? No, it's not. But it certainly makes this feel like an almost entirely different car to the base model Select. But then again, there is like 30% more price in this car than that. So you would kind of hope it's about 30% better, and honestly, it is. Down to the fuel economy, this thing has a claimed fuel economy of 5.6 litres per 100 kilometres. I've been getting 6.2 litres per 100 kilometres, which, considering the performance of this thing, it's really impressive. And that's something that Volkswagen Group does very, very well, who obviously own Skoda, is that they just have incredibly efficient engines. And so really, if you are buying a Skoda Kamiq, you do feel like you're getting pretty much the best engine choices out there. Maybe not the most efficient, because the Corolla Cross hybrid would still be more efficient than this, but certainly some of the best feeling. Here we are at Thorthy bloody corner. Oh, the brakes are smoking. It's a very cold day. You're gonna tickle my little pickle? Let's go up here. Foot down. Didn't torque steer. The transmission there didn't really want to shift, but it did in the end. All right, here we are at our first hairpin. Again, it's very wet, so we're gonna be quite careful. But yeah, it's pretty incredible. I've been driving this thing now for 2 days, both of these ones, and there is no doubt that this one here, the Monte Carlo, is the better driver's car. It's got more weight over the front wheels, which you kind of need in a front-wheel drive car because it helps keep it nice and planted, and you feel that when you're turning a corner, the back just kind of follows the front and it works well. I'm smiling here because I actually am quite impressed with how it drives. It's not a cheap SUV. I'd say it's a good value SUV though, for especially what you're getting. Feels really spacious in here. Visibility is fantastic. It's really small on the outside, so it's very tossable. It handles amazingly well. It's like where you point the car, it will just simply go. Obviously, we're in sport mode here, but even if we put the car back into, let's say, eco mode, where the transmission becomes very dull, the engine limits its torque and power outputs, ride goes back to comfort mode, or 2 modes, but it just works and it's nice. There's a couple of other really cool features with this, especially when you put the car in eco mode. So first of all, even if you're not in eco mode, it has cylinder deactivation. So you can actually see that this thing is running in 2-cylinder mode for a lot of the drive, which I think is interesting. I always question how cylinder deactivation will go in the long term because of what we saw with Holden or Chevrolet and their terrible cylinder deactivation. But Volkswagen Group have been doing this for a while, and that never seems to be an issue. The other thing that the Skoda Kamiq finally gets is travel assist, which essentially is adaptive cruise control with lane centering. So we can activate it here, and it does a actually very good job at keeping us in the center of the lane. Unfortunately, because it does come with a manual handbrake, it means that it doesn't have an automatic failsafe with the handbrake that a lot of manufacturers do like. So when you come to a stop, it will disengage the cruise control after a couple of seconds. But still,
really good to have. And still, a lot of people actually just want to keep their manual handbrake, so there is that. The other thing I love though is that when you take your foot off the accelerator, the car actually starts to coast. So it's got a really smart like engine and transmission combo where it will actually decouple the wheels from the engine essentially and let the car coast. It's smart, it just saves fuel, and that's why this thing is so weirdly fuel efficient. In fact, it's one of the most fuel efficient cars in the class despite not having any sort of hybridization. So yeah, really the strong suit of the Skoda Kamiq is just the way it drives. It does a very, very good job at driving, and there's no doubt about that. All right, let's get into our final thoughts.
Alrighty, guys, final thoughts on the Skoda Kamiq. Should you buy one? Well, absolutely, you should definitely buy the Select, which is the entry model. $33,990 drive away. Unbelievably good pricing for what is a great powertrain, a great little SUV overall. Really acts more like a medium SUV than a small SUV that it is. The signature pack, it's nice, but you don't need it. And the Monte Carlo here, as much as I do like the higher performance of it, I do think that you start to encroach onto some real class leaders like the Toyota Corolla Cross GXL with its hybrid system and all-wheel drive. It's about the same price drive away as this, give or take, and it does a lot of what this can do. And in some instances, I just prefer it. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you think of the Skoda Kamiq? What do you think of the new pricing, and which one would you be taking? Of course, if you want the best price on any one of these Skoda Kamiqs, you need to check out carsauce.com/buy. We have thousands of dealers and we'll get you the best price possible at no cost to you. It's a win-win-win, baby. Ciao for now.